From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. Good afternoon, my beautiful people here on TikTok. We are talking about Sebastian Rogers, the 15-year-old autistic boy that's missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee. I am Bullhorn Betty. I just got back to Florida, and I literally walked in the house and immediately got to work on this case. Lots of stuff going on with this case. We just talked about earlier today about Uvalde. Thank you, Jules. You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. God bless you. God bless you. So we actually, hey, Brandy, it's nice to see you all. Thank you. You guys are absolutely amazing. You guys are entirely too sweet. So we had, actually, this is not the right one. Hold on, it's this one. So we went over this first thing this morning. I was literally standing at the airport, and you saw people walking behind me because I was in the airport. I really don't have a green screen behind me. So as I was talking, people were just kind of fluttering in this area here while I was at the court or at the airport. This came out. Now, we're going to come back to this and talk about this because, you know, I'm kind of a little iffy on this whole Uvalde Foundation for Kids being involved. There's just something not adding up to me, for me. So I'm just going to take a step back from this post that we discussed earlier, and we're going to go over to a new topic of discussion that I think you guys are going to want to listen to. As you know, many of us, this is coming from Alicia Swift. Alicia, if you are a Bullhorn Betty fan, thank you. God bless you for getting these out. I always like to give a shout out to the people doing the work and digging in. Now, I'm going to move out of this screen, okay? This right here are all the doors. This right here are all the doors. Let me see if I can get my finger in the camera. So we have a door over here. We got a door over here. And then we got a screen door here. So we've got 3 doors, okay? So we're finding out that a lot of things that they are telling us doesn't really hold water or is being contradicted. So it says that you literally have to see this with your own eyes, that there are 3 doors at the Proudfoots. They all think we're just internet sleuths, but we are actually realists that dig out the BS. You can't listen to, you can listen. I can't read it because there's all this stuff at the top. It's all the stuff at the top is removed when I download this, and so it's kind of hard. But you guys can read it up here, and they talk about the podcast to prove everything they say is a contradiction or has contradictions. As far as I can see, this moment, this is a crime scene, and I truly do believe the house is the crime scene, but. You know, everybody, there's something I'm just not feeling with this, right? We keep seeing this, and everybody's like, oh, he's still there. And we notice Katie's car's not here, and we got people driving by, and everybody's like, why are you stalking them? Well, you know what? Public property laws are pretty clear, and if you want to drive around a block, you can drive around a block. If it's a public roadway, you allowed to use it, whether people like it or not. Whether you do 20 circles around that roadway or 1, it don't matter. It's public roadway. You paid for it. You paid for it. We're taxpayers. We own this shit, right? Our government government doesn't. We do. We own the government. A lot of people don't realize that. We're correcting that as the years go on. That's why you got political activists like me making sure everybody understands the Constitution isn't for us. It's for our government, right? It's for our government. It gives them their limitations, not us. So there is that. But why are we talking about this right here? Is this a decoy? Right? Is it? Is it a decoy? Because I feel like this is, right here, is becoming the decoy. I think that we can have cameras on the outside of their camper, but for some reason, the night that Sebastian went missing, I don't know where the cameras went. I don't know. They were there 1 minute, gone the next. Katie said, oh, they're never here in the first place, right? Well, she has the Brinks truck out front of the house, probably filled with all the equipment. I mean, I don't know, right? I mean, no. So I have a problem with the whole security camera thing. So it's kind of making me feel like this might just be a little bit of a decoy. But we got confirmation from one of his workers that he is working the night shift. But I still feel like Katie and Chris not together. Chris is all, macho man. Yeah, right? That's Chris. Macho man. Nacho man. Macho man, right? Our beloved Chris Proudfoot. I think he's staying at the house with Katie. I don't think he's going to let Katie out of his sight. I don't think he trusts Katie anymore. I really don't. I think I'm starting to feel like this, like we don't ever see Chris outside of this, right? We never really see Chris. We never really see him standing around except when he was, pointing at the camera to make sure everybody that was circling around, doing their laps around the community knew he had a camera. And I keep wondering, everybody that I've seen run around that place, I've never seen one person go in there. I've never seen one person stop or harass them. Now, granted, I don't know what goes on there when the people that pass without cameras. We only get to see what people have with the cameras, right? We don't know what they're doing when they're not recording. So they could be doing some stuff. They could be driving around there screaming at them. I mean, we don't know. I'm probably gonna go by there and say, "Hey, Chris, Betty's here. If you want to talk to me, I'll be out in front of your community here with my picket sign. You'll see me. You won't be able to miss me. It's gonna have your stepson's face really big on it. Why don't you come by and say hi to him?" But I know I do a lot of dry humor type stuff. I get it, but in a reality setting, I do believe that, I might be onto something here. Like, they got the house here. Katie's at the house. Is he really here? Is he not? Are they back on their same schedule where he's living in the camper and going to work and at night and coming home and whatnot? I don't know. Any news? Well, I shouldn't say that. There is some news. This came out early this morning, and this morning I was 3 hours behind. So I think this came out like 3 a.m. or something like that. I think I was talking about it at 6 a.m. I can't remember. Something like that. This right here, I'm just having an uneasy feeling about this. And here's what. I know that this is coming from the Uvalde Foundation for Kids. I know that this is a legit organization, and these are legitimate posts that they are publishing. But here's what. This is what I know. I know when there's a little meat to a bone on internet will grab a hold of that meat and run wild, right? It'll take one little nugget and it will go and be manifest into 100 different possibilities and right? All of a sudden, we never even heard, we knew about the Uvalde Foundation for Kids. They've been promoted in newspapers and things like that since the horrible thing that happened out there at Robb Elementary School. But where did they come from? In all fairness, I'm not being rude. I'm not being rude at all. I'm just saying all of the sudden we have these crazy cryptic posts from this foundation that's just enough to get you wanting to go over there and sub them up, right? So you don't miss any possible notifications on Sebastian. And then the next email is even more cryptic. And I'm thinking, who are they? What resources have they truly provided? This is the first time I've ever heard of the Uvalde Foundation for Kids getting involved in a missing person child. They're from Texas. Sebastian's from Tennessee. Who are they? How have they helped? And why are they now jumping in on this case? I wasn't thinking about this yesterday when I was posting because I just want to get as much information out. But then today with this post, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. We have no media going crazy over this. We have no social media going crazy over these posts. I mean, we're just passing these posts around and talking about them. But who's corroborating this information to be true? And when did they actually provide resources? How did they provide resources? Where did they provide resources? Were they providing resources to law enforcement or to family members? And if they were providing resources to family members, which family members? Chris and Katie or Seth Rogers? I'd like to know that. I'd like to know that. Because this right here has been going on for several days with this foundation saying that they have information that Sebastian Rogers, they're stopping because of the significant information that they've heard, but we've heard no significant information. No significant information. So Uvalde Foundation for Kids, either shit or get off the pot, because we're sitting here waiting. Here's day 2. What the F are you talking about, dude? I'm just saying. This is a child. This is real life. This is no joke. And the only person being affected by this is this boy right here. So if you have freaking information that's going to bring him home, you better start running that gator really effing quick. Just saying. Just saying. Because I travel all over the country and I don't like people monkey effing when it comes to children. You want to do some stuff with like Riley Strain, adults and stuff like that? I'll stand a back seat. You start doing this kind of nonsense. If this is not true and you're doing this kind of nonsense on this boy's case, I can tell you it will not end well for your foundation. Because I do not put blinders on for a 501c nonprofits. If you don't believe me, go see what we did to the United Cajun Navy for doing some bull junk like this. So I just want to make sure that this is not like a cash grab. This is not like I've got to ask those questions these days because I was hook, line, and sinker into all these things. You guys watched me. I've been very, and you're like probably thinking, why is she changing her tune? The reason why I'm changing my tune, honestly, is because nobody's talking. We have no media corroborating any of this. We don't have Seth coming out corroborating this. We don't have TBI coming out and corroborating this. We don't have media coming out and corroborating this. And the only people here on social media are us, and we're talking about the post, but we're not corroborating it. So where's this information coming from? And I'm sorry, I don't like feeling like I'm duped, but when the plane land and like the 10,000 pound weight, they made a new post. Hold on. Thank you, Outdoors Dad. Oh, good heavens to Betsy. Heavens to Betsy. I wish they'd let me change, like share my screen. It'd make my lives here on TikTok so much easier if they just let me share the darn screen. Seems like it'd be too easy to come up with something like that. Wouldn't want to simplify things for the digital world. I think I'm such a smart ass, aren't I? That's what you love about me, isn't it? Dad, be honest. I'm your favorite smartass. Admit it. Okay, Outdoor Dad, I got the new phone powering up, so we'll check that new post out. I'll check it out right now. Thank you guys. They are blaming it on a criminal investigation when it is not. Actually, I kind of disagree with that as well. I think this has been a dual investigation from out the gate because of what here's what I think. I think the missing person's been the decoy for law enforcement in this case. I think early on in this case, they knew something wasn't right. And here's what makes me believe that. When this case was called in, it was called in right around 6:30ish, okay? And he was called in as a runaway. You know, basically, his mama went to bed. She woke up the next morning, and why isn't this working? Hold on a second. No, I don't want to. Okay, there it is. Okay, sorry, it was just connecting to the house internet. And Katie woke up the next morning, basically. Why is this not opening? This is really starting to irritate me. Okay. I swear to God, my phones really irritate me sometimes. Let me turn the blue. You guys are gonna. I don't want to freeze everything up. I don't know why my TikTok. There it is. It's finally working. But she says she woke up around 9 a.m. in the morning, or 6 a.m. in the morning, and he wasn't there. So they called law enforcement at 6:30. The reason why I feel like that law enforcement has been doing this dual investigation is because at 12:17 that same day, okay, that's some 6 hours later, that is when they issued the endangered child alert. The endangered child alert was issued at 12:17. You don't issue an endangered child alert within 6 hours of a child missing unless you found evidence that that child is in danger. There's certain elements that they have to meet, in order for them to get that endangered. And then obviously even higher level of standard that they have to meet when they go for the Amber Alert. Like now they are required. What is it? The Uvalde Foundation? The Uvalde Foundation for Kids. Okay, we finally got it. So that's really why. And then not only that, but the very next day, I think it was, I have to go back through the timeline, but I think it was almost the very next day, they immediately issued, I want to say early, maybe it was 4 in the afternoon, before 4 in the afternoon or something, they issued the full Amber Alert. The full Amber Alert. So something indicated those things. And so those happened within the first 48 hours of this case, the very first 48 hours. So I honestly believe this missing person case has been the diversion, right? I think it's been the distraction, and I think they've been running a dual investigation this whole time. I absolutely do not believe that that this is not a criminal investigation. I don't see how it could not be a criminal investigation based on just where they're searching alone. The fact that they did have a dog hit that a scent literally disappeared at a very specific spot, just so happens where they saw lights that they say are dump trucks heading toward. So on videotape. So I'm sorry, they have a lot of information that they've been trying to contain as much as possible, and I truly believe that they have been not forthcoming with us, which I'm okay with. You know, at the end of the day, I'm a realist, right? What's the name of the game? Do I want to have the best content, the breaking news, and all this stuff going out to you? Absolutely, hands down. I work my butt off to try to get you guys all of that information first. But at the end of the day, what is the most important? The most important is bringing the victim home. And if that means we don't get all the information from law enforcement, you know what? I may bitch, moan, and groan about it, but it's what needs to be done. Because at the end of the day, I could be for the clicks and the views, but I'm not. I'm for these. I'm for these. The victims. I'm for the victims. As long as law enforcement is doing their job, they will get assistance from. If they tell me to stand down, I will. If it's something that they just want me to keep quiet and shovel under the rug, you got me messed up. But if it's going to go to the heart of the case that's going to help bring a child home, I'll sew my own damn lips shut. Just in case, we have to have, a backup plan, right? And me just keeping my mouth shut never is going to work. So we got choices here. It's super glue or stitches, okay? I'm just saying stitches I think are going to be a little more, I think the super glue I think I can pry apart. That stitches might take a little bit of time because they're going to be a little bit sore, right? So I think we need to sew it shut, okay? I'm just saying, I'm just spitballing here, We want to make sure whatever we decide, we just want to make sure whatever we decide is effective, right? That we need the result. The result is me keeping my mouth shut, which is a very hard task for me. Okay, so there is a new post, guys. And this says, founder of Uvalde Foundation for Kids speaks out in a statement on the Sebastian Rogers case. I think this is pretty dangerous. They put their phone number on there. Like, I mean, I guess they do have a phone number anyways, but it's still, like, I just don't want them getting attacked. Excuse me. But here's what it says. Okay, we're on the site right here. It says, Uvalde Foundation for Kids founder addresses the Sebastian Rogers case. Now, this is, like I said, I don't know, maybe this will clarify for us. You know, I want clarification. I don't want to think bad of any type of organization. I want to think that they're doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. But again, nobody's talking about this. Law enforcement's not picking this up, and news media isn't picking this up. With all of this attention from us, why is it news media picking this up? At least to find out or clarify what he's talking about. Nothing. Crickets. Uvalde Foundation for Kids founder addresses the Sebastian Rogers case. Founder of Uvalde Foundation for Kids, it says the same thing a second time, just in different print. The Uvalde Foundation for Kids recently announced via various social media network sites, including X and Facebook, that it is ending its various search efforts to find missing 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. Since that announcement, as of this morning, several of our posts to this effect were removed by our media team members due to inappropriate messages being tagged to those postings. We felt it necessary to clarify that the foundation is, in fact, ending its search efforts. I personally, as the founder of the foundation, felt it time. There's a little misspelling here, albeit briefly, to address this and a few other related items more formally. Many have asked why we have ceased our efforts for Sebastian. Many have also gone on more recently to question the legitimacy of our involvement in this case. I just did. That was prior to this, and I was very supportive of it, but I'm not hearing any squawks from media. I'm not hearing these groundbreaking news that they're saying is happening, that there's movement in this case. We're not hearing anything. It's only them. So we have to question it. It's no disrespect to this foundation. This foundation was birthed off of 19 beautiful lives. So I would never do anything. I know for a fact who this foundation is. I just didn't understand how their involvement is. And yes, I'm questioning it. And I have a right to do that. And so should everybody and anybody else. We need to find out if people are making these kinds of statements and what their motives are. I'm glad they're clarifying them. Thank you, the Uvalde Foundation for Kids, right? This is what we're hoping for. So hopefully they clarify. This is the first time I'm reading it for the folks that are just now coming in. And so they go on to say with, questioning the legitimacy of our involvement in this case, with recent theorists going so far as to challenge the legitimacy of both of our hearts and efforts overall as a foundation. I've never done that, nor will I, and I think whoever is doing that's despicable. I mean, it's one thing to question something from a place of love. It's a totally another thing to be just a complete asshole, just to be an asshole. We say no to being just assholes, right? There's enough assholes in this world. We're not going to be a part of it. We're better than that. We rise above that. We're kinder. We come from a place of love, right? A rather entertaining amateur news report on our foundation from our beginning, now almost 2 years ago, has even been circulated. It's time to more formally respond as the founder of the Uvalde Foundation for Kids. That task ultimately falls upon my shoulders. Summarily and hopefully briefly, our foundation is not law enforcement and became involved in this particular case due to its nature involving an amazing young man, Sebastian. While it was not peril to our nonprofit work to prevent school violence as nonprofit students and youth advocacy organization, we could not turn a blind eye to his plight. Too many organizations and individuals do just that. We avoid getting involved because it's not our business, or we feel we are underqualified or too young, or worried what others will think. Big mistake. Be a Betty. We don't give a shit what people think. We do our thing because it's the right thing to do. That's all that runs me. Is this the right thing to do? Yep, then that's what we're doing. Whatever the reasoning, they are unacceptable. Since Uvalde, Texas, our foundation has been dedicated to protecting young and serving them, youth and serving them. And in this case, it did not matter to us that it was not a school violence-related case. It was a case involving a child missing and a nonprofit. We had resources. As individuals, we are mothers and fathers and family members. Beyond anything else, how could we remain silent? I can understand that. 100%. In an attempt to provide any help we could initially throw at our Stop Now Safety Response Volunteers team, we teamed our own network of volunteers, online crisis team members, including students themselves from our national network, searching, passing out flyers, making phone calls, and more. As this progressed from Tennessee to Mississippi to Alaska, we became increasingly convinced of the culpability of certain members of the Sebastian family in his disappearance. That factor has not changed. We have made that stance public. Why? Just as holding parents accountable when their child enters a school and unalives students appropriate, the foundation asserts that holding family members publicly accountable when their child is endangered or harmed in any way due to their potential negligence or worse is most appropriate. I gotta say, some of this, I don't know if I would have worded this letter quite like this. There's some things that are a little confusing for me when it's read, but hopefully when I go back and read and hear myself read it, maybe it'll clear some things up for me. Sometimes it does do that. Now, as the case has gravitated toward a criminal investigation, we will not comment on, coupled with our now limited resources, our foundation initially elected to scale down our efforts and ultimately cease them. As alluded to above, some have challenged the foundation's purpose here. I address that in the aforementioned, some have stated we are seeking monetary gain from this hype and circumstances. Now, I thought clicks. But I will be honest with my audience. I've never heard the Uvalde Foundation set up camp and ask for donations like that horrible United Cajun Navy that's literally stopped search efforts for days. They didn't stop search effort. They put a couple guys up and said, oh, come volunteer here. Oh, those volunteers are all ours. They're all our volunteers. No, those are private citizens that came because people like me promoted people like you, and you just screwed people like me. That's why we don't like United Cajun Navy anymore, because you lied to us. You used us for profit while we were driving people to you, thinking you were there to help. And here we have the Uvalde Foundation, and even me. You guys starting out. I'm critical of this. I gotta say, I just read that. Now I'm kind of feeling. I don't feel like their heart was in the wrong place. I mean, this sounds like something that I would write or say for some case I'm covering, and I know where my heart is on these cases. I have to be honest with you. I believe them. I believe that their hearts are in the right place. I believe that they were involved. I believe that they were searching for the obvious reasons. And we know this foundation is legit, and we know exactly why this foundation was set up for to begin with. And God bless them for taking the time. I had literally no idea that they were helping in the search efforts and using their online, their programs and all their online resources. I mean, they're talking about, where was it? That students themselves are part of their critical volunteers. So they're Stop Now Safety Response Volunteers. We have teamed our own network of volunteers and online crisis team members. So they got a whole sleuthing team along with ground searches and searchers out there. I mean, this is pretty impressive, and we didn't even know about it until they were exiting. This is not a money grab, y'all. I'll tell you that right now. I've seen a money grab. We've seen a money grab. We watched the United Cajun Navy. Now, that was a money grab. I was questioning where are the information, but nonprofits, I agree with that there is something not right, but I also agree that this has been a criminal investigation probably since the first 48 hours, because I'm looking at the releases. I went back and I'm like, you know what? I didn't look at it at first, but that whole endangerment at 12:17, that's a clue. That's a clue. That's a clue, dude. Within 5 hours, they knew this boy was endangered. That's a clue. It sure is. And I don't know why I overlooked it. I really don't. And I also think this here is a decoy. I think Chris Proudfoot might be staying at home. He might be leaving his truck there. He might be going, commuting to get back and forth to work. He might be staying there and doing the thing he was doing before where he's going home on the weekends. I truly don't believe him and Katie Proudfoot are living in two separate homes and her having to stay at her home by herself while he stays there by himself. Golly, that family just doesn't seem like they know anything about the word called love. Because I got to tell you, I don't know how any woman or any man can stay apart like this on the heels of a child missing. Like, work is more important than your own child. I feel so bad for Sebastian every day when I think about looking at his parents, because I truly believe even his mom thought he was trash. I know that probably isn't the case. I believe that something probably just popped off there at the house, and whatever happened ended up, making Sebastian lose his life. But at the end of the day, we don't know what happened to him. Could Katie be involved? I believe Chris is. There's nothing, no ifs, ands, or buts in my mind that Chris has some hand in this somehow, some way. Nobody would have coaxed that boy out of the house. He didn't have friends. He didn't have online predators. The only people this boy hung out with was family. This is an inside job. Whose job was it? That's what we need to be asking. I just got back to Florida. Today's the 18th. I'm going to rest tomorrow. I'm going to try to get on the road on the 20th. I got to get the oil changed in the car. And I'm going to try to make my way up to Tennessee. It's starting to sound like Tennessee is winding down. People aren't searching. It sounds like new information is being breathed into this case. And it sounds like this is what I think is happening. I think they have surmised that Sebastian is no longer here. That's what I truly believe. I believe that something, whatever they found, has led them down that road. Period. I just do. So we're just going to sit here and hurry up and wait. That's really all we really can do, is sit here and hurry up and wait, because nobody's giving us any information. Uvalde still, even with that letter, didn't divulge the information that they have that led them to stop looking. And it's like, well, what gives here? Like, seriously, what truly gives here? Because they're saying that they're involved, but they can't disclose or discuss the information that it just doesn't. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't like it. All right, guys, I don't have a whole lot of time to spend with you today right now. I'm going to still keep doing some research, and as information comes available on this case or the many other cases we're covering, I will come live. I'll do something like this and just kind of explain what's going on. I wish they would tell us. I know. I don't get the crypticness of these messages. Like, if it was me, I would be like, look, this is what I found. This is what I heard. I can tell you that, and I've even told my audience, I can't really tell you what it is, but I can tell you that it's bad, and I can tell you that it solves this problem, right? It solves this problem or something like that. But I just wish that they would come out with just a little bit more, because I think that we should have just a little bit more. We need a little bit more information from Uvalde. Like, they're the ones making the statements. What was found? What made them stop? Yes, we know that Chris and Katie might be involved in this. We've known that from literally day 8. At least for me. I've known that from day 8. So why would you stop a search and say, oh, it's because the family... Well, you knew that when you went into the search. Because I'm going out there searching, and I know that going into the search. So Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you, Curvylicious. It's nice to see you. I love you guys. You guys have an amazing day, but I am home. Court, I think, went pretty well. We're going to wait for the order from the judge, and we'll move forward in that respect. But I'm back home. I'm landside, and I'm back in my state. I don't like Illinois. I don't like Chicago Airport. I think Chicago Airport, your third-party vendors there are rude as hell. Your employees for United, your employees for the actual airlines, sweetest people in the world. Those third-party people, they don't give a shit about their job. They don't give a shit. You ask them a question, they're just nasty. Just nasty. It's like, I looked at this one boo-boo and I'm like, you ain't got to be rude, babe. You might be a little happier if you treated people a little better. I'm just saying, right? But talking to me like that, you're going to get a response from me like, honey, you might want to, slow your roll. Be a little happier. Good Lord. Because right now, you're about to get your ass cussed out. I'm just saying, about to make your day a hell of a lot worse. So why don't we change that attitude and turn that frown upside down, shall we, Cupcake? All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Love you and God bless.